All right, Seth, we got a great congressional candidate again today, Mr. Vance Bostic out of New York's 8th District. Um, Vance is amazing. He's just the kindest guy. He has a really interesting backstory. I've done a lot of research on him through his website and his social media. And, he's taking on establishment Dems to the 1 millionth degree because he is opposing Hakeem Jeffries for his seat in his district. Hakeem, as we know, is not only a congressperson, but he is the minority leader of the House. So it is a tall order to even throw your hat in that ring.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking to Vance. I mean, he's another fellow millennial, real New Yorker guy, and like a lot of the type of candidates that we want to bring on this show. He's a grassroots guy, progressive, and so absolutely looking forward to talking to another guy like that who's looking to really involve his community in all of his decisions.
Yeah, this will be fun. All right, let's get into it. I'll see you on the other side.
Let's do it.
Hey, Seth.
Hey, Allie.
Got a very special guest today. We are taking back the name Vance. We have a Vance with us today, a good Vance, the right kind of Vance, Vance Bostic out of New York City. Vance, are you with us?
Oh yeah, I am here
Hey,
and ready to go.
Vance. So nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us today. Now, Vance, you're running for District 8. You're running for Congress in District 8 of New York City. Is that correct?
That is very correct.
Okay. And your district consists of, this is my research, you can correct me, of Brooklyn, Queens, Coney Island, East New York, Bedford. Is all that sounding right?
Okay, so Brooklyn and Queens are boroughs, so
Hmm.
it doesn't include Queens,
Okay.
but it is Brooklyn and it's like a backward C from like Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, East New York,
Hmm.
Canarsie, Mill Basin, Marine Park, Sheepshead Bay, Coney Island, Brighton Beach, Manhattan
Okay.
Beach,
Okay.
all the way down there. So it's like a backward C from like northeast to South Brooklyn.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you. So your district, your congressperson right now in District 8 is Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
Yep.
So let's get into that. As a constituent, um, and I'm sure you're out there talking to other people right now, obviously, because you're running a campaign. What's the overall consensus or feeling in terms of how Hakeem Jeffries is serving not only his constituents, but serving at that federal level as the minority House Speaker?
Yeah, I think here in Brooklyn, when I'm speaking to people, people are over him. People are ready for change. It really frustrates me because I hear the polls and we all hear the polls, and the polls say that Hakeem Jeffries has a 70% approval rating in the district. But I've been out for like 8 months now speaking to people, and it's not reflecting that at all. I would
Mm.
say maybe 1 out of every 10 people actually still support him, where the majority of people are just over it. They're over all the games. They can see through all the crap. Yeah, for the most part, people are done with the shenanigans.
Hmm.
And for me, as somebody running, a big part of it for the people who don't see through it is about exposing his level of betrayal. Because I do live in the district. I did vote for him. I did support him, and I feel betrayed. I feel when I look at his record and when I look at his donor list and his voting record, I feel very betrayed. I look at it and I'm like, well, he's actually not on our side. Like one of the things that prompted me to running was when I saw him at like union rallies and giving speeches and smiling in pictures. But then I look at his voting record and he's voting for union busting and he's
Mm.
voting against unions. And I'm like, this is a major problem. So most people see it. Most people are over it. There's a few people that actually still support him, but we're chipping away at them for sure to make sure that his level of betrayal is exposed.
Yeah, I have my own personal opinions about Hakeem Jeffries. Obviously, I don't live in your district, but just seeing him as the minority leader of our party, um, I'm very disappointed. I don't feel like he's meeting this moment at all. Obviously, I'm sure you feel the same that we do.
Yeah.
Our democracy is in real trouble right now. We are in peril as a country, and we need leaders that are willing to stand up and fight. I see leadership like that. with people like Jasmine Crockett and AOC consistently fighting
Yeah.
against the worst impulses of Trump and his administration. But I have not seen that out of Hakeem Jeffries at all.
No, no, and that's like that was one of the things. Also, I mean, there's a lot of things that prompted me to run, but feeling that I don't feel represented by him, feeling that he doesn't represent Brooklyn,
Mm,
feeling that he has been a hindrance towards any progression we could make. These are the things that I was like, we can't keep being held back by this guy. We
yeah.
need people that actually want to be public servants. We don't need more career politicians. I'm tired of that. People don't get involved in the process of voting because they don't feel heard, they don't feel seen, they don't feel represented. Therefore, they don't even participate at all.
Mhm.
What I would like to do is to change that entire thing. When I think about running for Congress and getting elected and being in the position, I want to be more than a representative. I want to be a teammate with the people. Like I have this idea of what bills I go to vote on in the House. I want to run polls in my district to see how the constituents want me to vote on those bills.
Oh, I love
And
that.
it's a way to involve the people in the process. I want my office to be just a hub for constituent services, for not just for services for them, but for ways to help out in the political process. I think it's about getting people involved more and including them in every step of the way. That's how we get people to participate. Yeah, we
That's
include them.
fantastic. I mean, we have seen, especially over this last year, a lot of people that have been voted into Congress are MIA. Even when it comes to spending time in their offices, conducting town halls, listening to their constituents, responding to their constituents, they've
Yeah,
just fallen off the face of the earth. So I think that's a great way to approach service, being a public servant, right? Is
yeah.
really connecting with the public.
Yeah, and that's something that I say all the time is that I'm running for the job of public service, not for the job of politician.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have a political background, but I have a background in hospitality and in service, and that's what I think we need in Congress right now. We need real public servants. We don't need another career politician with a law degree. I'm tired of seeing that. Look at where they got us. We need people who care about humanity, and that's what I'm running for. I'm running
Yeah.
for public service.
I agree. So let's talk about you. I scoured your website. I wanted to get to know as much as I could about you. I found kind of your journey to this moment really inspiring, talking about how you grew up, some of the challenges that you faced, from youth all the way to young adulthood. So just talk to us about you, right? What is your journey that brought you to this moment of deciding to run for Congress?
Yeah, well, definitely. Like I said, for as long as I could remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be a starving artist. Like that was living in New York City, living in Brooklyn, doing art. I was like, I gotta work in like the food industry. I gotta work in hospitality, and I'm gonna be like a starving artist. And I'm gonna make art at night, and I'm gonna work in service in the day, and just always work in service for the people. That's something that I've always I love doing. I've always wanted to pursue that. I've never really done anything outside of that. Every job that I've had has been a service job of some sort. Whether it was when I was a carny back in the day and I used to travel the East Coast of the United States with the carnival, literally working amusement rides, and that was such a good time in my life. Or I used to work at a catering hall doing five-star Italian weddings out here in
Mhm.
Brooklyn as well. Um, and even just doing stuff like that, I've worked on several different food trucks. I've done catering events for all types of things, and that's just really kind of been my overall focus. Even when I did event photography when I was working in nightlife, I got into that because I was watching other event photographers. I was looking at their photos and I was like, people just look drunk, they look a mess, they look sweaty, and I knew that I could make the community. And specifically, I worked in LGBT nightlife.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make people look beautiful, and I would Photoshop with my photos, and I would edit sweat off of them. I would fix like girls' makeup. I would make people
Oh,
look beautiful in these settings when they were just having fun and letting, and that to me was another way of servicing the community. And that's just kind of like been my journey. I will say I'm not the greatest with academics. I ended up dropping out of high school. And a lot of this was because I put work first.
mm,
I grew up in poverty. I live in poverty. I've always had to put work ahead of my own education at most times.
mhm.
But I dropped out of high school. Uh, I ended up getting my GED back in like 2013, like right at the time where they were like changing the way the test was. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, this is the moment. I have to get it now before they do this. I was like, I don't know what's going to be on that next version of the test, but this is it. I got to get it done. And I ended up, I passed, I got my GED. And again, I went back into, I wanted to go to school. I wanted to go to college and get a degree, and I never did. I went back to work, and I kind of had to, we got to survive. We have to
Mhm.
work. That's kind of just the system,
Yeah,
unfortunately. Something
That's
that
the
we do.
millennial plight, right?
for sure.
That's we're stuck with work, and it holds us back from being our true selves, right?
Yeah.
And then finally the pandemic happened in 2020, and instead of sitting home when my job closed, instead of sitting home, I ended up going back to school and actually getting my degree. And through those years, from getting my GED to the pandemic happening from 2013 to 2020, I had found a love for accounting. And through working in the restaurant industry, front of house, back of house, um, doing like some managerial tasks, I fell in love with the process of accounting, and I wanted to learn it more. And I've always, for years, I was like, I really want to get a degree. I really want to go to restaurants and get into the office and really help them thrive with my knowledge of front of house, with my knowledge of back of house, going into the office and then just being able to help restaurants really thrive to their fullest was something that I really wanted to do. So I ended up during the pandemic, instead of sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, I enrolled in school, and literally the process happened so fast. Like it was like August, I was like, I should do this. Like I have the time now. And then like September, I was like in classes.
Wow.
And yeah, and I got my associate's degree, 2 years.
Okay.
Then I went and I got my bachelor's degree. I did my bachelor's in public accounting, business management, and finance. Um, then another 2 years, and then I did my master's degree. I was like, I got accepted into this program, and I was like, it was like a one more year, and I only needed a certain amount of credits, and I was like, I could actually have a master's degree. Like, who would have ever thought? And I did. I ended up getting my MBA, my master's in business administration.
Good for
Um,
you.
and in 5 years, I did it in 5 years. But
That's
those 5 years
incredible.
was some of the hardest 5 years of my life. Like I was doing winter, spring, summer, fall, almost six
I
classes a semester. Like it was a
I know
lot.
people that have gotten accepted into the fast track master's program as an undergrad, and they're lucky to get it done in 5 years. That's remarkable that you were able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I did remember. So I did. It started with my associates in 2020, and then I ended
Hmm.
with my master's in June 2025 is when I
Okay,
graduated.
that's
Just
incredible.
last year. Yeah, and I went through all of it. 5 years straight, 3 degrees. And I did it.
Good for you.
I did it kicking and screaming. I'll say that. The whole time I complained about all of it. The whole
Hmm.
entire time I was like, I don't know. And also it's like I'm 38 years old. I haven't been to school in years. I was never really that good at school. And so adapting to the process of being a full grown adult in college after not being in school for so many years, like I just kept comparing myself to students in my class that were, they felt ready, like they just got done with high school. They felt like they were ready for it, and I was still like, how do I even do any of this?
Yeah,
Like how do I study? Like it was an experience. But I will say, where they had me on academics, I had them on life experiences.
yes.
So that
Yeah,
was like the one contrast that I did notice in school was they were just not, they didn't have any experience in actual living life. Where I did, I had a lot of experience. I had a lot of work experience, like real world stuff going on that they didn't. Like, well, they were ready for school, but I was ready for the world.
yeah. And that's really beneficial. I think a lot of times when people go back to school as an adult,
Hmm.
the experience is so much. It's harder because, as you said, you have to readjust to school life, but it's easier in the sense that you have found your place in the world, and so you're really focused on what it is that you want to accomplish by being in school. Where some kids, they apply to school, they get accepted, and then they're like, now what? I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up. And you're just spending all of this money getting out of school, potentially with a degree you may never do anything with. So
Hmm.
I really commend you for that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
Um,
I
I
know,
knew
like
I.
through my experience, like when I graduated college, right out of the recession, I mean, I was incredibly confused because I'm getting out into the work field and I'm learning how to live, independently, but at the same time I'm looking for a job and there's no jobs. My entire field was taken up. I mean, we had a couple of part-time jobs and That's what I ended up doing, and that is a huge advantage for you. So that is
Yeah.
that's something that I envy you on for sure. I wanted to get back to Hakeem Jeffries though, because for me, like what's been so disappointing in his leadership for me is just the fact that he hasn't been able to whip the votes in in the face of the incompetency we see from the Trump administration. I mean, this should be a situation where, where they pretty much lost their entire lead in the House. It's from 5-2. And Hakeem to me should be able to make some things work, but I feel like he can't because he has certain loyalties, and he's also apparently lost touch with his district in New York. And I feel like everything is kind of distracting him from what his main responsibility really is to the people in New York.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. A big part of the problem is the way that he hasn't been able, as the House Minority Leader, he doesn't have control over the Democratic Party. And to see like these few Democratic like members step out and vote against things that would actually help the people is really frustrating when he's supposed to be like he claims that he has everything in control, that he's like the leader, but that's not what we're seeing. And then even when it comes to the district, like yeah, like people in the district, they're definitely over him. People are ready for a change here. And I think overall, whatever the case is, he's been in the establishment for so long, and he has loyalties to everywhere else. He's just tapped out of what is needed in this moment. He is not the right person for the
Mhm.
job. There are so many other people in Congress right now that would be better leaders, that will make better speakers. I don't foresee Hakeem becoming Speaker of the House. It cannot happen.
Yeah.
Um, at all. And more importantly, I think he needs to leave and not be representative of the district. We need people who actually live our very real lived experiences in these positions, writing laws for us, not taking money from lobbyists, and also letting lobbyists write legislation so our congresspeople can pass it for them. The entire system is it's just not working, and it all has to change. And I will say, it's not just Hakeem Jeffries that's the problem. It's the
Hmm.
entire establishment. Like almost every single representative needs to be replaced. It's unfortunate that Hakeem is in the position that he is, and he is as weak as he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Allie, I know you and I were very disappointed to hear, how the SAVE Act passed through the House, along those margins. And once again, Hakeem Jeffries is, found wanting, coming up short in the task that he's been given.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and his reply to that was, "Oh, I didn't do it." Like, okay, you didn't vote for it, but you're the leader of the party. Like,
Right.
aren't you supposed to
The
be
buck
whipping these
stops
votes?
with
Yeah.
you. Where
Like,
is the accountability?
yeah. So even though you didn't do it, the responsibility is yours. Like, I blame
Absolutely.
everything that's going on in the party. I'm completely blaming Hakeem for.
Hmm.
Like, that's just
I,
and that's just like the price that comes with being a leader.
mm, yep, absolutely. Well, I love your backstory. I love that you were
Thank
able to
you.
get back into school. And I think you're a people person. It just exudes from you. And our previous guest that we had on last week, he's running for Congress in Virginia. And, he said what we all have been thinking and saying is we're tired of our Congress, our politicians being made up of former business executives and lawyers, right? These people are woefully out of touch with
Yep,
the struggle of day-to-day Americans.
yep,
You have worked in the service industry. You're clearly a people person that is not only willing, but happy to connect with people in your community. And I
yep.
think that's what we're really looking for going forward. So, I just applaud you for taking everything that you've been through and focusing that in on giving back to your community in this way. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add to that real quick.
Hmm.
That was kind of the thing that motivated me towards running. Like when I was contemplating it, and I was going back and forth with my own self, trying to figure out, like, is this something like I can do? Is this something I want to do? Like, how can I commit to this? And before I made the commitment, like, that was the thing is like realizing that because I don't come from money, because I worked in hospitality, money's not going to sway me. That's
Hmm.
one thing that I'm very confident in my stance with the way I don't care for capitalism and the process entirely. And then also it was just about my loyalty to people, my love for humanity. Those are the things that pushed me to wanting to do it. And also like my disregard for like publicity and attention. These are things that we need in our representatives.
Hmm.
And those are the things that I feel like I embody. And that's when I made that's what came down to the final line to making the decision to actually commit to the process of running for Congress was those aspects right there. My attention to my love for humanity and the way I don't care for money and the way I don't care about publicity and the way that I'm also like extremely self-reflective and can take criticism to a sense
Hmm.
and have a very thick skin. But I'm also like funny and can joke around about things. Like those are the things that those are the qualities I believe that we need people in
Yeah,
these positions.
real
Real people.
people. I agree with you. And I looked through your platform and some of the policies that you plan on campaigning on. A lot of them are very typical of what we are looking for with progressive candidates, right? You talk about healthcare and you talk about banning insider trading and protection for marginalized people, marginalized groups, um, banning Citizen United at the state level. These are all things we want our candidates to be talking about. But something that really stuck out to me, and I know this is personal to you, is the Artist and Gig Workers Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before, so I'm curious. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, well, I will give some insight on the entirety of the platform first. So when I decided to run, I didn't want to build a platform. I was like, I really, my whole thing is about including the people in the process. And what I really wanted to do was include the people in the process of actually developing the platform that we want. But through the process, the beginning days of it, everybody was like, no, you need a platform. Like, I want to see a platform. Like, where's your platform? So I was like, fuck, now I really gotta like do something. So the idea was about you, like you said, it's common sense things that we all have been asking for, and that's exactly the idea. Is we have been asking for these things for far too long. No more asking from healthcare to housing to getting money out of politics, all of it we need it done. No more asking for this type of stuff. So that's kind of was the idea of formulating what I have on my platform was about just doing what we want.
Mhm.
Stop, no more asking for it. But the Artist and Gig Workers Bill of Rights is something that is super personal to me as an artist and as somebody that has done a ton of gig work. Also, as AI takes over everyone's
Mhm.
job and people resort more to artistry and to gig work, we need these workers to have protections. And the idea is just extending our regular Bill of Rights for regular workers, or for everyday workers, to include artists and gig workers. Make sure they have OSHA protection. Make sure that they're and all of the other policies on it kind of play into each other. Like the healthcare definitely goes into covering that. So there's areas of that that's just like making sure that gig workers aren't catching asthma attacks and dying because they can't afford an asthma pump or whatever the case is. So all of them kind of play into each other to build off of each other to have a system that functions for people. And that's just kind of the idea is to make sure that, as AI takes all of our jobs, that we have protections for all these people.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's the one that I feel the closest to. And out of everything on the platform, that was the one that like I wrote myself and that I was like, I want this. I need like this is, and I do promote it at the like the top of a lot of things that when I talk about the platform.
yeah.
The Artist and Gig Workers Bill of Rights is something that I kind of always am like, I got to make sure I mention this,
I
because
could
I
tell when
love
I
it.
read it that it was personal to you. I could
Yeah,
tell that this was something that was really important to you, which is
yeah.
why it stood out to me, and resonated with me. And I think it's great.
Yeah, and
And,
we're in New
and
York City. It's all artists and gig workers here.
Yeah.
And it's
right,
also like,
and
go
oh,
ahead.
my bad. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say like because reason why I relate to it is that I've never had a full-time job.
Mm,
Like I said, graduated out of the recession, still have never had a full-time job. I'm an independent contractor for different TV companies, and so a company has never paid for my health care, paid for my 401k. I've had to set
mhm.
those things up for myself. And that was why, having the Affordable Care Act was so crucial for me early on when I got off of my parents' health insurance. It really picked
Yeah.
me up because when you get into this gig economy, there are no benefits. You
No.
are on your own, and so
Yeah.
a gig worker's bill of rights is something that
I knew you were
when
going to
Ally
love
just
this
said
one,
it,
Seth.
it just like the spark went off.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes,
Hmm.
because when you get out, I mean, when you get out of college, there's no guarantees out here. This
Yeah.
isn't America 1975. There's a job waiting for you if you have a college degree. You're gonna have to hustle. You're gonna have to make it work. So, man, yeah, we need protections for gig workers and people like us.
Yeah. No, I definitely love it. Another thing that like sparked my love for that particular thing is watching the NYPD consistently throw away like vendors fruit and vegetables that are on the street. Like there's nothing that I hate more than seeing just like somebody trying to make it through the day and then just the NYPD is just rounding up all their stuff and just throwing fresh fruit and vegetables away. Like it's infuriating.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing that like hurts me more than seeing that. Like it really does get to me on a very deep level. And it's part of why like I also like continuously like despise the NYPD. It's just there's no need to like do anything like that.
Yeah.
Like because they don't have what a permit or a license or something to sell fruit. Like what you're gonna throw away their whole thing? You could just tell them to pack up or whatever. It doesn't even matter. These people
Yeah.
just need to protect it, and that just needs to not happen. Like
Right.
that's just what it is.
I agree. And like I said, so many of your progressive ideas, policies, remind me a lot of Zoran Mamdani. And so how are you feeling about Zoran so far?
I I supported Zoran all through his run. I was out canvassing. I mean, I was doing canvassing for Zoran before I even decided to like run
Hmm.
my own thing. And actually, it was after Zoran won the primary here in New York City, that really sparked the want for me to run. Shortly, I mean, it was the beginning of when I realized that there was hope. People had hope. There was an electric like sense of hope all throughout the city when he won that primary that I was like, oh my God, this is what's missing. People
Hmm.
don't relate to their representatives. Like people, and we had record-breaking numbers. It was because he inspired people. He gave people hope for something different. And we saw the turnout. We saw the people getting involved. And I was like, that's what we need. We need more of that in order to get people involved because I mean, we saw for 2024, 90 million people didn't vote. And
Yeah.
that is a problem. So yeah, no, I supported Zoran through the entire process. I like him. There are things that I don't like right now.
Hmm.
The endorsing Kathy Hochul is kind of annoying. I kind of
Hmm.
liked her primary challenger.
Yeah.
Um I was feeling him.
But I imagine there's some strategy behind that, right? Because Kathy
Yeah.
already has the gig, and if he's able to, you know, um, coerce in a nice way her to get behind some of the things that he wants to get done because he will need her ultimately, right, to
Hmm.
get funding for some of his larger policy proposals. I can see why maybe that would be his route. He's a pretty bright guy, but
And
my
he's a
biggest
charmer, right? He's
he's
a
a
charmer.
charmer.
He
He
charmed the
is.
pants
Trump,
of
Donald. Yeah.
Trump.
which
I
is
mean,
crazy.
he had him rocking turtleneecks for goodness sake. Like, I mean, if he can do that with Trump, Kathy Hochul is easy street. So
Doesn't
I
stand a
you know.
chance. But I do think, the thing that I love about how your policies are similar to Zoran's is because I feel like having, representatives throughout New York City that are aligned with Zoran Mamdani's policies can make them
Yep.
go even further, right?
Yeah.
You're not working against each other. You're all working in unison to
Hmm.
accomplish very similar progressive changes in New York City. So I think it could be a really good partnership.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the thing also that pushed me towards running was saying like, well, Hakeem is not going to support what Zoran wants to do for New York.
Yeah.
And what we need in that seat is somebody that's actually going to not just work with him, but build it and push it and see the vision. Like that's something as I saw the vision. And you're right, my policies are very in line with what he wants to do, but it's also about providing for the people. These are things that we have all been asking for. So again, it
Mhm.
goes back into just like no more asking, but also like we need people to back him, to back the plan, to see the vision and wants to help build the vision. And I fully believe that Hakeem is not for that.
Yeah.
He is owned. and the people who own him don't want to see any of that. I mean, look at how much they spent to try to block Zoran from getting in the first place. Like,
Exactly. And speaking of not being owned, I also saw you are not accepting any corporate PAC money. You are not
no,
accepting any APAC money.
no,
So you are a true grassroots progressive candidate that is every 5, 10, $15 donation is going to make all the difference in the world for
yeah.
somebody like you running a campaign in New York City. Um, Before we get to how people can support you in your campaign, Seth, do you have any final questions for Vance?
Just who were there any politicians who inspired you on your way, like other than maybe ones that we've already talked about, maybe people in your family who really inspired you that you grew up around or that you kind of see as a mentor?
You know, through the process of running, I and just even before running for Congress, Shirley Chisholm here in well, she's not alive any longer, but she was one of the first black female representatives. I believe it was, I want to say it was New York 10 maybe was her district. She also ran for the presidency. She was one of the first black women to run for the presidency as well. Back in, oh man, I don't remember the days exactly. I want to say it was in the 80s that that happened. Maybe late 70s, early 80s, something in that field. But no, Shirley Chisholm is definitely somebody. She was just so aggressive. She was the unbought, unbossed. I don't know if
Yes.
you've heard that phrase, but that was her. And yes, she's somebody that I watch documentaries on her now, and I'm just pulling inspiration from her just because she is aggressive and she just was a take no shit kind of person, and she did what she wanted to do. And that's something that I would love to emulate. And especially as somebody who's from Brooklyn, she's from Brooklyn also. Like,
Hmm.
that's just what we need, because we can see Hakeem, who's taken all the shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, Hakeem is taking it all. So it's just like we don't need that. We need people who are gonna stand 10 toes down on business. And Shirley Chisholm was that person. And she is definitely somebody that I am trying to emulate and feed off of that energy as I run through this process. And I mean, it does get discouraging sometimes, the entire process. I mean, I'm just a regular person trying to run for a federal office. And it's not the easiest thing. I keep telling people this is the longest job interview and application process I've ever done in my life. It is something, it's an experience. But I think penetrating through that gate-kept wall is something that is so important to show that we need regular people in there, but also it doesn't have to be locked the way it is. I think that
Mhm.
there is a way to enter into the system and to be aggressive and unapologetic about it, to remove those barriers that they have put in place to keep us out. That way they have a lock on it all. But Shirley Chisholm definitely represents all of that, and that's somebody that I definitely look up to in this process for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Okay. Vance Bostic, the good Vance.
the good
We're
Vance.
reclaiming the name Vance.
Yeah, although I will
Um,
say I'm not always so good, but
Nobody is, but
yeah,
you're definitely not the other
yeah,
Vance that we're
yep.
talking about.
And
Not even
my
close.
my my name was given to me. I didn't choose it.
Yes.
It's my
And I
birth
love
name.
it. And I love
Thank
it.
you.
And I love that we're reclaiming it for good.
Yeah.
So, Vance, tell people how they can support you. I know you have a website. You want to give your website, any socials that you have out there?
Yeah, for sure. You can totally go and check out my website. I fully recommend it. Go check out my Ballotpedia questionnaire. It was one of the first things that I had wrote. And it is extremely personal. I let a lot of like insight into there, into my perspective. But my website is Vance B for NY8 at no, Vance B for NY8.com. I was about to say at gmail.com, like it was my email. No, it's Vance B for NY8 dot com. And you can, all my links are on there. If you want to check out my socials, I would definitely say go to my Instagram, which is vance.b.nyc.
That's where I found you.
Um, yeah, and then you can check my link tree that is in my bio. And if you want to participate in the campaign outside of donation, you can also find the donation links on everywhere.
Hmm.
But if you want to participate in the campaign and help build this movement, join my Discord. I have a Discord that's acting as my campaign headquarters. You can also get to that in my link tree in my bio. And that's where we're coming together and working together. This is how we include the people in the process. I mean, you can help formulate my policies. I'm rewriting policies all the time, or I'm adding new ones to it that's not up
Mhm.
yet, but we're in the background. We're working on some new platforms that we want to add on. There's people helping formulate that kind of bringing the plan that I originally had with having the community for build those platforms. That's something that we would do. You can help with opposition research if you got some dirt on Hakeem. You want to help out. Um, Help me. Tell me it all. I want to know.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you do design, you can help design things. If you want to canvas and door knock, like any way to participate, the campaign is open for the public. It's something that I want everybody involved in. Nothing is gate kept here. So yeah, definitely go to my website, follow my socials, and we got to make a reach because Hakeem is a household name. Everybody knows him, and if he wins just because he's known, it'll be a real shame.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, Vance.
Thank you.
Obviously, I wish you the best of luck. We'll make sure that everybody knows how to reach out to you and to connect with you and to support you. And let's stay in touch. Tell us how things are
Yeah.
going. We're going to be following you. Primaries for New York's for your district. When
hmm
are they happening?
So primaries are June 23rd.
Okay.
And I believe the early voting starts, it's like 12 days before that. I
Okay.
believe they are in New York. I could be wrong. Don't go. I don't know when early voting starts
Yep.
exactly yet. But
Yep.
the primary date is June 23rd.
June
Yeah.
23rd. Okay. So let's stay in touch between now and then and just see
Yep.
how things are going because I'm really looking forward to big things from you.
For sure, for sure. Definitely, especially with the ballot access happening right now, the next big hurdle is getting on the ballot. So if we don't
Yeah.
make the ballot, it's all fucked. It's all downhill
Yeah.
from there. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really the focus, and that's due April 2nd is
Okay.
when ballot access stops, and then we have until April 10th to get everything binded and submit it to the Board of Elections in order
Okay.
to get on the ballot. Yeah, so by hopefully late April, May-ish, we'll know
Mhm.
if I made the ballot or not. Hopefully I
Okay.
will. We're
I
working
hope
on
you
that.
do. I really hope
Yeah.
you do. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so
Sure.
much. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
really appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Thank you, Vance.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Well, that was Vance Bostic. I mean, what a great guy.
Yeah.
Another great guy.
Yeah, just a really outgoing, likable fella who's obviously a people person. It was so thrilling to see how he's gonna involve his community members in every decision that he wants to make. I mean, this is not a guy who's going to be swayed by money. He's going to go to his constituents first. And that's probably something that Hakeem Jeffries has lost in the shuffle of being the minority leader and all that comes with it and all the favors that you gotta keep for everybody. I mean, I'm sure it's crazy, but Vance is the type of guy who is young, he's hungry, and he's looking to put the focus back on New Yorkers, and that's really, I think, what District 8 deserves there in New York. Very very progressive. In that same vein as an AOC, was really energized by Zoran Momdani's run, and I can certainly see him collabing with guys like Zoran to really, give New York what it needs, a real plan for affordability again, so that the great city of New York is available to all Americans and not just people who can afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved that conversation. I loved his backstory. All of the hard work that he did over the pandemic when
Yeah.
most of us were just kind of bed rotting and binge watching. He was like, I'm going to take this opportunity and go back to school, something I've always dreamed of doing. And he accomplished so much over that period of time. And there's just something so affable. Like there's a humanity in him that really comes across. He cares about people. And this is what I really want to see we get back to with our candidates, right? Not people that are business executives or lawyers, as we talked about earlier, real people with real life experiences that still are in touch with the challenges that we're facing day to day as everyday Americans. I think that Vance embodies that. I think that he is going to fight for other people just like him in New York City that just want to have a easier go of it than we are experiencing right now in these times. So Really hoping that he gets on that ballot. I think he said that was going to be decided April 2nd, or that's the deadline. So we should be hearing more about that um, towards end of April, early May. And we'll make sure to follow up and see if he did make that ballot. I'm hoping he does, fingers crossed. And then if he does, we'll follow his journey up until the midterms.
Yeah, it
So,
was it was really inspiring to hear him talk about how he reinvented himself. You know, millennials get a really tough we got a really tough break of it.
yeah.
We came in the game in a time where there was a lot of upheaval financially and in the job markets, and you know he took that time to reinvent himself. In a time where a lot of people could have fallen into despair, he chose to rise above it and really give himself a shot. So really great to hear that. And a motivated guy like that is somebody that we need in office, right? A guy who's going to come in, be hungry, represent the people, and bring a fresh perspective.
And, you know, he just got that MBA in 2025. He is right on the heels of that major accomplishment. This is somebody that's got a lot of fight in him, and he's clearly willing to fight for the people of New York City. So, great conversation, and we'll see what happens with Vance. I really like him for that seat.
Sure. I mean, he's the real deal. You
Yep.
know, he was a you know he's a real gig worker. You know, worked in the service industry, and I tell you what, Ali, again, like the gig workers bill of rights. That's something
Mm,
right there that could really catch on, and I hope that people hear that
yeah,
because that is
absolutely.
the reality for so many Americans.
Absolutely. All right. Another great interview. We'll catch up later and get into some news stories and our LOL of the week.
All right.